Hi everyone, this is the Kubeflow community meeting for the 4th of February 2025. The CNCF code of the CNCF code of conduct applies to this meeting, which is this here. There is quite a few people here. If we have new people, I guess we'll see if this works. We'll allocate a few minutes at the beginning just for people to say hi and what brought them to the community meeting for the first time, if they're a first time or a new attendee. So I guess if anyone wants to do that, raise your hand or just say hi. Hi, Akash.
Yeah, hi everyone. So I've been going through Kubeflow. Like I work as a DevOps engineer in Oracle. So there as to work, I got to know about MLOps and something. And yeah, in free time, I was checking out Kubeflow, how to contribute. I have raised some issues as well. I'm going through documentation, and yeah, even Chase has given me some suggestion where I can start contributing to it. So yeah, I'm good
Cool.
to see. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. Hi. Thanks for coming. And Mona?
Hi, everybody. Mona here. So I'm independent consultant for cloud native and platform applications. Sorry, for cloud native applications and the platform. And I actually started working with Kubeflow in 2022 during my time at VMware. That was the first engagement to enable machine learning developers to work on top of Kubernetes. So I was researching the area and trying to see the abstraction layer that we can get between the machine learning developers and Kubernetes. And I get hooked actually ever since, because I tried to integrate this with our internal with the Stanzo platform and stuff like that. So I'm so interested to get to be in the community, and I actually try to be on and off lately, but I'm looking forward this time to contribute like more actively than I used to. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks.
Mm.
Cool. Does anyone else want to say hi? We've got like another minute or so. If not, oh, Jenny, we have a new person. Hello.
Hello. I think I've been to the Notebooks 2.0 meetings, but yeah, just saying hi here to the community. I'm working on the Notebooks 2.0 effort. I'm working with Patternfly to help theme the notebooks to match MUI. That's part of that effort for the theming there. And yeah, I'm also excited to join the team and contribute, and yeah, to get to know the community and work with you guys. Yeah, great to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. And I've been appreciating your work on Notebooks 2.0 as well, as with everyone else as well. Awesome. Cool. I think I know there probably is some more since we've got about 30 people in the meeting, but I think we'll move on to the first topic because I want to start talking about the release. So I'm going to let whoever wants to talk about the release first do that.
Yeah, I will talk first. Can I share my screen?
Yep, of course.
Perfect. Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Valentina. I work at Red Hat. Here in the community, I work a lot with the website and also part of the release team. So what we are doing here, we are providing a quick update on the release. So we are working on Kubeflow 1.10. Today, sorry about the date, need to update that. As you can see here, so the current status, you can see the green ones are the components that are already had cut the release. We are working towards manifest. Some of them already finished the manifest synchronization, and this is like building the whole release of Kubeflow and ensuring the versions are up to date and doing the scripts and the test. And then with that, we are waiting on Karit. So Karit is waiting on a few PRs to be reviewed. And with that, we heard from the leads that they are planning on cutting the release tomorrow. So after that, we can do that part of the release that is synchronizing the manifest. If you have interest in learning more, you can look in the manifest repo at Kubeflow. From Notebooks, we heard that they are working on 2 PRs to be included on the release. So we are waiting on this project to have the release cut in order to start working with the manifest. The rest of them, as I mentioned, are they have cut the release and we are working towards the manifest. So with that, I want to thank everyone for the hard work on doing on this release, all the contributions, and especially all the meetings that we have. We usually meet prior, like yesterday we met with everyone, the work teams liaisons on providing the updates. So thank you so much everyone for contributing. And now I will pass it over to Ricardo, who will be talking about what's next in terms of the release. And yeah, Ricardo, the floor is yours.
Yeah, sure. So just public announcing RC0 is already there. We have at least 80% of the components done for the 110 distribution. So we decided to cut the release with those changes. We already have a plan for RC1, which will be February 17, which will include, we want to include notebooks, Catib. We have a last minute change for model registry just to upgrade the manifest to embed the UI. And with that, we'll be waiting 2 more weeks to cut RC1 release and expecting that we have all the remaining components ready for 110. We don't have any plans for RC2 right now. We need more input on how much critical bug fixes we need for each component. Then we can plan for RC2. I guess that's it. If there are any questions, concerns, comments, feel free to do it.
Awesome. Thanks for that update. I will, I think we've actually already merged, can you clarify which PRs were listed for the notebooks thing? Because I thought we already merged most things. Or is there some that I'm missing? If you could comment them on this issue.
Yeah, I will add that from the notes. Yep.
If you just comment them on this issue, then I'll make sure that they get merged. Okay. Cool.
Sounds good.
Because I've been a bit busy over the weekend, but now I think I should be able to cut a release. So, okay. I was sailing, literally, actually sailing. Anyway, okay. So next, anyone else want to say anything about the release? So the next date is not this, but it's something else. I guess this has already happened. I'll just strike that out.
Yeah, check the first bullet. There's RC1 expected release date February 17.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Okay, cool. What is that here? Feb. Okay. 17th. That's okay, cool. Just unstrike that one. And do that. Okay, so that's theoretically the current date. I don't know what day that is. Okay. Let's move on. Andre, do you want to go first about your SDK, or do you want to go through the kind of updates for the status?
I think Eder should go first with Jupyter working on extensions.
Let's the working group first. Okay,
yeah,
cool,
the Eder. I think Eder should go first. Eder, what do you think?
Yep, everything's correlated. I don't know if you can open the proposal. Just to meet your comment there. Yeah, thank you. Hey, good morning, everyone, and good afternoon. So we are discussing for a few weeks with multiple members on the community regarding, if you can scroll in just to the middle, for 3 problems that I feel with the Kubeflow community. In parallel, Andre started the conversation about the SDK. So I think you can converge for something really interesting for the community. The problem that I put on this proposal, just for us to start the discussion and bring this topic for the community, are The main one is that I would like to start. I don't know if the working group is the right place or a project. I would love to have the feedback, but I would like to have a place to start a Kubeflow Jupyter Lab extension. This will be orthogonal. That's why I don't want to put in one working group, because it will be orthogonal on multiple projects. I want to provide to create a place for us to build something that the data scientists can do everything inside Jupyter and notebook, including pipelines, training operator, Khatib, interactive model registry, everything there, including graphical visualization. So an extension where users are able to alter and see the result of the pipeline execution, to interact with the model registry with Khatib, also see the model serving, and in future with Feast. So everything integrated to provide a data science great experience in the Kubeflow and inside the Jupyter Notebook without having to go to the dashboard. Why I think this is so important is that we need to be more welcome for the data science to try to, as Jupyter Notebooks is the place where the data science do the work, we should allow them all the tools and all the best access for the platform inside Jupyter. And in order to do this, I would like to propose to us to start a working group or something else where we have a place in the community to discuss with the multiple working groups regarding to create a Jupyter Lab Kubeflow extension. Then the second problem is a side effect of the Jupyter extension. That I would like to have a place to discuss reusability of UI components. This means that, for instance, one issue that we have right now is that when we are altering Elira, is our option to alter pipelines. But when I go to Elira and alter a pipeline inside a Jupyter notebook, when I go for the dashboard and I see the result of that pipeline execution, the wax and look and feel is different, making the confusing, at least clunky for the user. So I'd like to also, as a part of this working group, start to discuss with multiple other working groups in the Kubeflow to figure out how would you reuse the components. For instance, if you're having a visualization of the pipeline, this visualization should be the same inside a Jupyter Lab extension to make everything with a better UX. And then there is the third part that is developing a Python SDK. I think Andre, you cover more on this proposal because I wrote this before. We wrote this in the end of last year, so it was that as a side effect of having a Jupyter Lab extension, we figure out that I want also to have a SDK, a single SDK that is an entry point for everything. So all those three things together is I'm targeted to have a place in the community to discuss, to have a better experience, a better usability for the data scientists. That is my goal. And then if you scroll a little more on one things that are working on. So we are proposing to have two threads of the work in the beginning. To first is that Stefano is one of the person that work with me together with Andre and others in the proposal. Kale get a big traction in the community in this issue 730. And we should figure out if the community is interesting and if you get an attraction to use Kale as a baseline for the Kubeflow user extension. This is one of the parts that we should start this work. Kale has a nice use cases, and as the issue has a bunch of tech, we should start use Kale as a baseline. And the second part that my team in Red Hat is working on in collaboration with people from the Elira community, in highlights to Luciano, is to make the Elira extension work again with the Kubeflow, especially with the notebook Jupyter 4 as well. This is work in progress. Elira is about to release a version that is compatible. I even don't know if this is released yet or not, but it's something that we are working in the community. So we should use this as a baseline. So this will be the first test of the working group. We need also to explore how we work with the Jupyter community, especially regarding the Jupyter scheduler. And in the scroll a little more, it will be the last one, Matthew, thank you so much. And then in the second phase of the working group is to figure out if K will be our baseline in phase 2, and then in phase 3, figure out what will be what exactly we are designing for the data scientists. We need to have some Elira is the alternative to allow users to alter pipelines and to see the pipeline execution and also interact with other components of the Kubeflow. So in short, my long-term plan is to have a place for us to have a Jupyter Lab extension that will allow data scientists to talk with all the other Kubeflow working groups and projects and provide them a seamless experience. And I'm open for the feedback of everyone. That's why I created this as an issue, and I'm raising this in the meeting today. And thank you so much, everyone that collaborate for have that thing written.
Awesome. So that we don't kind of go super over time, let's I just want to remind everyone, let's use the issue to make your comments if you have specific comments. If anyone has any really, really burning comments that they want to say right now, or things that they want to clarify from Edo, feel free to raise your hand, or if no one does that, then you can move on.
Yeah, I have a
Andre?
few things we should probably talk right now. Any other like comments from the community, maybe from folks from Jupyter side of things? How do you view this collaboration moving forward?
I'm not sure if there'll be anyone on the call who is able to answer that, but
I can see Zach here on the call. I can also see some folks from our team here on the call. Maybe, you know, if you want, you can.
I don't know if Luciano or Guilherme is on the call for Lara team.
I'm here.
Oh,
hey, good morning.
great.
Sorry, I mean, let's not put everyone on the spot, but Zach, if you're interested in working together, we could probably organize something, unless you want to make any statements.
Yeah. I think so Luciano, representing Elira, he and I have talked a lot about what's Elira and Jupyter Scheduler's future in terms of just there's a lot of duplication in those two efforts, and so we kind of have hands in both those groups. And so we're already like looking at kind of separate from this issue, just how do you like blend those two together and like have kind of the toolkit for workflow development that's agnostic to necessarily what technology you're using behind the scenes. So that's already like right in line with this. And then, so this is great. I feel like synergy's happening over there. We should just get everybody in the room together. But yeah, it's that would be my only comment was the Elira and scheduler folks. I think like we could do a lot to bring those things together and dedupe some effort and make those more like flexible and modular, and then plugging this into the broader Kubeflow stuff that's going on here, the efforts here. That should be a natural step along the way as well.
Yeah, I have like similar thoughts. Like we should definitely have like reduce the duplication across Scale, Elira, and Jupyter Scheduler. And I think we should still, like this working group should still be build the Kubeflow powered extensions, like observability around train jobs, right? Or observability around, you know, hyperparameter unique optimization tasks, right? Or then like a list of your models, like the work you've done for model registry, how you can plug in this within Jupyter. So like there is a list of extensions that could be agnostic over like, you know, for example, workflow engine, some folks using Airflow, some folks using, you know, Argo, KFP, like how we can, you know, benefit something from Jupyter side and at the same time building something which can be Kubeflow specific, like extensions just to list, you know, train jobs, get like show the logs, all these things. And I hope maybe not right now, but we should establish where this extension should live, right? Like some of them should probably live under Kubeflow GitHub org. Some of them could live under Jupyter GitHub org, right? Like Jupyter Scheduler, for example, and how we can consolidate them. So I guess this is probably what we should talk about and get the feedback from the community.
Maybe one thing too, just to get people excited about this group, like the why Jupyter, and I don't mean just even notebooks. Like why do you choose Jupyter Lab as the UX or the shell in which you want to do this stuff was more. This is why we're talking about Elira and scheduler blending them is one of the problems Jupyter's trying to solve that I think is unique is a web application that because a core tenet of Jupyter is that you're working with documents that are complex, right? Notebooks are not just plain flat source files, they're actual like nested, complicated documents. We also want those documents to be powered by real-time collaboration. And so we're solving that problem. Like, how do you collaborate on deeply nested, complicated data structures? That's unique somewhat to Jupyter versus like a VS Code, which is might going to work with a little bit more flat documents or things like that. So we're solving that problem kind of in parallel. If you can think about everything through the lens of if I can back it with some sort of document structure, we can put that in memory and then power it with RTC. And so you could do things like collaborate on a workflow with RTC, real-time collaboration,
Yeah,
if
that would
you
be
just
awesome.
tap into this ecosystem. And so I think that's a unique problem that Jupyter is kind of devoting a lot of energy to. And it would benefit this community. So why Luciano and I've talked a lot about trying to blend scheduler and Elira is Elira basically defined a file format for workflows. So like we could just turn on RTC and work
Yeah.
to workflow UX. Obviously it's not quite that simple, but it's pretty close. And so we have a lot of interest in kind of making both those things come together and then benefit from that kind of separate effort, but would really, really enhance this feature.
Yep, that would be awesome. I'm more than happy to collaborate with Jupyter and a lot of folks to blend because as Andre said, there's a lot of duplication. The most important thing for me, I think, in the Kubeflow community is to make sure that we have a way that the editor that will be on the top of those tools are embedded in Kubeflow Center dashboard in order to us to have the same visualization everywhere, and then behind the scenes and make sure that the pipelines also works. But for sure, we can collaborate on this. It would be awesome.
I think
Yeah, I think
Lucy, wanted
yeah.
to say something as well.
Yeah, go ahead,
So
Lucian.
just a quick additions there. So like initial question was around the support for the Lab 4 and everything on Elira. So that part has been done. We have done a release candidate, and we are just making some small updates to do a final release there. Regarding what you just mentioning, there are a couple of ways that we can go about that. So like, for example, one is the pipeline editor is actually a component that is separate from Jupyter, and then it's embedded on Jupyter. We also have visualizers, like for example, when you go to GitHub and you have a pipeline file, you can see the pipeline in its kind of like a visually structure. That is another option if we want to start embedding that in other places. We even done similar things with VS Code editor and things like that. So there is a lot of like opportunities there. And as Zach was mentioning, we have been talking about how can we remove duplication, integrate things more, not only between us as we kind of now work together, but like with other companies and things like that. So a lot of new things coming up soon. So I'm very happy to be part of this group and then getting this to the next level.
Sounds good. And Andre?
Yeah, I think maybe only one thing that I don't know, Eder, did you discuss personas? Because I guess like we should define a role of central dashboard, for more kind of admin persona and, cluster operator and data science persona, because I think this is important for everyone to
Yes.
understand, like for which type of people we're talking about.
I have my feeling of this. I just didn't add for the document. You don't become too broad, but this will be one of the things that you should discuss as well in the working group.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, maybe we can definitely follow up. Yeah. So
what's the next steps here, Eder? So do you want to? Is there going to be like kind of an informal kind of meeting between the people who are interested in this, or is it just going to be commenting on the issue at first?
Whatever you feel best. I can set up a meeting with everyone to figure out, or wait for 1 week to let people have time to write those comments and feedback, and then on next Kubeflow meeting, I think we can set up the meeting to discuss this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Makes
that
sense?
seems reasonable.
Yeah, just to leave room for people to provide feedback on the issue.
So if you have opinions, hey.
Yeah. I would say let's give 2 weeks folks to comment.
Yeah.
And after 2 weeks, maybe we can, as Mike just said, have a dedicated meeting on the calendar, right? Like to not overload this community call, right?
Yeah.
So we should probably go and message it on maybe the Jupyter mailing list as well, or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Zach, do you think it might be useful for folks from Jupyter side to know about this effort?
Yeah, we can. I think so. Challenging thing about this is always that like there's also like 20 different Jupyter meetings.
Yes.
So trying to get people to go to other meetings is always tricky, but we can certainly reach out to people and let them know this is going on, try to get them to show up.
Even if it's not a regular meeting, more like just a workshop initially.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Where it's like, hey, as a community of people who make IDE-based tooling, we should try and figure something out. That's kind of the idea. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
Awesome. Thanks for everyone's work on this. Anyone want to say anything more before we move on? I'll quickly talk about Notebooks 2.0, and then Andre, you can talk about your SDK. Yeah. Okay. So we have quite a bit going on with Notebooks 2.0 as the number of people seems to spiral into crazy numbers of involvement. So this issue is still here for people to see. It's not actually tracking what we're doing. It's just information about what Notebooks 2.0 is and will be. But I just will always give a call out. So while we do have a lot of people involved now, if you are an experienced Go or front-end developer, specifically in React to the front end or any kind of JavaScript framework, really, if you're comfortable, and Go and controllers, if you are familiar with that, or Go and REST APIs, always welcome new experienced developers. If you're a newer developer, you can still work on things, but there may not be room for mentoring right now because there's just so many people. So yeah, but if you have experience, we would love to have your help. Some of the things that we're working on right now are getting the front end design finalized, kind of as Jenny was saying, kind of having all the main UI elements kind of designed and then implementing them. And then now that we're working on the back end, which is the REST API, it's kind of like we've got the controller pretty much done. We're getting then the back end now interacts with the controller for the front end. That's kind of the piece that I'm working on, and then the front end is obviously being worked on by a lot of people as well. So yeah, I think someone also said, do you mean TypeScript? And the answer is yes, I do mean TypeScript as well as JavaScript, yes. Cool. Hi, Mona. You had some...
Yes, I just was wondering because it's written here controller, a Go controller, so
Yes.
I'm happy to contribute here.
Yeah, if you have Go experience, then
Yes,
that would be amazing. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
we are now meeting every Thursday, and that's the last thing I wanted to add, rather than every second Thursday, because we just have way too much to talk about. So if Mona, that's great. If you're interested in coming, we have 8 a.m. Pacific time on every Thursday.
Sure.
Getting you a task in that time might be kind of difficult, so it might be best if we talk offline to find you a task, because like that meeting tends to be more of a status kind of going through the 20 or so people who are working on it. But yeah, okay, cool. But that's amazing to have another Go developer, because there's less of us than the front end people at the moment, which is good.
Okay. Okay, awesome.
Cool. Anyone else interested in helping out there, or if you're interested in helping out, either come on the Thursday and see what it's all about, or I guess you can throw a message in one of the notebooks chats, maybe the Kubeflow-notebooks chat on the Slack. Cool. Anyone else want to add any questions or things about Notebooks 2.0 before we move on? Cool. Okay. Andre, do you want to talk about your SDK?
Yeah, do you want me share my screen quickly?
Sure.
Really quickly, sorry, Andre, do you mind if we go out of order here? Actually, I think it's in order. The Valentina's updates on the website, do you mind if we kind of quickly allocate some time?
Yeah, okay, I'll move it to the next one, yeah.
Do you need like 3 to 5 minutes, Valentina, for this?
Is this more of a thing that goes in the lead agenda, or?
I think she waited last time and we didn't actually cover it.
But what specifically does she need? Yeah, okay.
We can just spend 5 minutes for this. I think it's okay. Go ahead, Valentina.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Can I share my screen?
Sure.
Okay, so first I would like to talk about a KCD. Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
So I'm part of the team organizing the Kubernetes Community Days here in New York. I think it's an amazing event. This is the second one we are doing it. We did it last year, 200 people. We are expecting 400 people. And I'm talking about this here today because we have CFPs open. So we'd love to hear from you, have some submissions around Kubeflow or any other open source project that you're maybe passionate about working on. We have the diverse type of sessions from lightning talks, roundtables, so panels. So the deadline is February 28th. But also, if you don't want to submit at this time and just want to attend, there are early birds right now. So just take advantage of that. It's an amazing event, an opportunity to connect not only with the New York community, but also, we receive usually people from all over the world. So I just wanted to provide that update. Looking forward to hear from you. Richard, if you have any questions. With that, I will go. Thank you for letting me do this with the website. So for those who are new to this meeting, we were working on the website on doing some cleanup and trying to reduce the issues that were open there for some time, for some years, I would say. So all the issues were reviewed. We have more than 120 over the last years. So they were reviewed and a lot of them were already closed. So I'm sharing this with you because if you had an issue there, you were asked, sometimes some questions, or we closed it because it was resolved. So we want to take the opportunity to say, really, thank you for your contribution. And we are making the effort, to keep everything up to date. Right now, we have also some issues that are, waiting for help from the community. So if you're new with the community, want to contribute, the website is an amazing place that you can start. So just go through so first we do have the links here about how to contribute, more about the community, but also if you can find some things about good first issues or just help wanted, ensure that the issues are not assigned to anyone. As well as we are working towards doing some best practices in terms of we have a few PRs that will be adding some templates on the PRs and the issues itself. We are also working on improving like the UX design, like Matthew's doing amazing work there as well. We are also working on the documentation for the release. So here there is, I want to show you, if you are looking in how to contribute, this is coming from Andre. He needed some help for the release. So we are looking for reviews in these PRs and the issues. Also, we do have some PRs that are looking for review and some issues that needed help. Then this one is high priority. With that, I just want to take the opportunity to say thanks for everyone that is working so hard on the website. It's really important for us, to continue contributing, because it has not only about the technical aspect of the product, but is examples how to start using the product. So everything, you don't need to have, you'll be technical. Everyone is welcome to contribute. So looking forward to hearing from you. And I think that's all I wanted to share. So thanks everyone. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks for everyone who's been working on it. I know it's always don't be too discouraged if people have comments about website things though, because for everyone, I mean, because like it is the most visible part of the project. And so everyone has an opinion. And so like, it's not usually personal if someone has disagreements about things. If it is personal, then we shouldn't have that. Anyway, cool.
Yeah, we are also working on, you remind me of something, we are also working on adding labels, like right now, we did some cleanups on the labels, so thank you, Matthew, for helping on that as well.
Yes, the website
So
label.
now,
I mean the issue labels.
Yeah, so now when you are working on an issue, you can connect it into a specific component, and that will make it more easy for everyone to like triage and review. So
Yes.
yeah. If you have any other ideas about, best practices or things that you're missing on the website, so feel free to, create an issue. And thank you so much, everyone. Thanks.
Okay, I'll share my screen again. Okay, Andre, do you want to go ahead with your piece?
Yeah, like Francisco, do we want to speak about SDK or Feast first? What do you think?
Oh, I mean, I can speak quickly about these. It's 2 seconds. Folks,
Yeah, let's go with Feast. Yep.
You've seen some communications from email and LinkedIn proposing donating fees to Kubeflow. I'm cutting a feast release today, and the important, exciting announcement is we're enhancing feast to have like a really, really great way to deploy Milvus. so that you can use Feast for your existing RAG applications or to enhance it. And again, adding that to Kubeflow means that we would then have a solution for RAG in Kubeflow natively. And I think that's really, really a powerful way. There's a light demo that goes with it in a notebook that shows you how easy it is to deploy RAG with Feast. So that's my piece. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, I think just two things, like please community comment on this cap and donation process. We would love to hear your feedback. We're working with Feast folks to see like what should be in the scope and how we can consolidate effort, right? So please like let us know about the comments as fast as you can on the proposal.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. Yes, we've got about 20 minutes, and I want to give at least a little bit of time to talk about some of the website PRs because some of them are very significant. Andrea, how long will you take to go through yours?
Hey, I can share my screen. Sure, go ahead.
Yep.
1 second. Yeah, so I think as Eder mentioned, right, we try to see again, like we try to see how we can streamline data science and ML engineering experience, right? So the goal of all of this, initiative is to be kind of, focused on those type of persona, right? We've been like, speaking with all of them for like many, like for almost 3 years right now in terms of what are the challenges for them to use Kubeflow today. And many of them say Kubeflow is just a complex tool for us to play with, right? And it's not only because like it's hard to install Kubeflow, but it's also because it's hard to use Kubeflow. So what we're trying to do here, we try to abstract the complexity for data scientists and ML engineers to work with Kubeflow APIs. Specifically here, we're focusing not about Kubeflow pipelines, but Kubeflow trainer, Kubeflow KTIP, maybe Feast, model registry, Spark operator, to provide a unified Python SDK to interact with all those APIs. So just I'm not going to the details of this proposal yet, but just initial like thought process looks like this. ML user, as Eder mentioned, like they just want a Jupyter lab. They just want to prototype some ML code there. And then they just want to scale this code across multiple GPUs using the advanced Kubeflow machinery. And they want to fine tune LLMs. They want to train them, want to optimize pipeline parameters. They want to serve them. They want to also do feature engineering, like artifact storage, model registry, and other things, right? So we try to see how we can streamline this experience. So like the end-to-end experience looks like this. ML user, just open a notebook. Maybe they're prototyping some code on the Python files. We try to see how we can solve the data access management problem. And then they have a single Kubeflow Python interface to create jobs for data processing, for training, for fine-tuning, for optimization, for serving, using the simple Python interfaces without know anything about Docker, Kubernetes, or other infrastructure. So ML engineer, they don't really want to know anything about Kubernetes today, right? And like we try to like the ideal experience looks like this. They can process data with Spark. They can train data with Trainer. They can optimize data with Optimizer / KTIP right now. And they can serve their models using Kserve. And you do some data manipulation with model registry and Feast, right? Yeah, so a few things I want to highlight. Maybe there are some discussion around how we can, maintain the release lifecycle because it's kind of complex problem. We have multiple control plane components and how we can maintain the client within these components. I try to propose some ideas, but looking forward to, like some of your suggestions in terms of the release lifecycle. And the most important, like maybe one of the most important thing about KFP, like where KFP is sitting on all these, like experiences. So from our perspective, KFP sits on top of all of the Kubeflow SDK, at least initially. So if ML users want to orchestrate those, MLOps pipelines, MLOps tasks, they can use KFP to stitch these pieces together. So ideally, they can just use again KFP DSL, which everyone knows about, right? They can have a function for process data with Spark. They can have a function to train, or fine-tune their model, and they can have a function to serve the model. And they can construct this, end-to-end ML pipeline using KFP, which sits on top of this Kubeflow SDK, as at least initially, right? Also, like the goal we're trying to achieve to, about the data management, how we can, move data from Spark to training, then, model from fine-tuning to serving step. So these things we're also trying to address with caching and other things, which probably we'll talk in the future. But right now, there is some opportunity for us to see how we can streamline the data management between these steps in ML lifecycle. Yeah, and also like I want to say about 1 second. Yeah, about like the composability, right? So we try to make this SDK composable and portable, which means it doesn't mean that you need to install the entire Kubeflow control plane to play with this tool. Like you can basically, we will have a dedicated client for every control plane component. So we have a dedicated client for trainer, dedicated client for optimizer, dedicated client probably for Spark. So if this control plane is not being installed, user won't be able to use this public APIs. But this will give us a lot of portability and flexibility in terms of how this SDK can be used in production for ML engineers and data scientists. Yeah, so any questions?
I assume that this package will depend on the existing packages from like Kubeflow pipelines and model registry and feast and other things like that.
Yeah, so KFP stays separate, right? So right now, we don't try to consolidate KFP within this SDK.
What I'm meaning is like, will model registries SDK still exist, for example? Because there will be use cases where people only want the model registry SDK. And so to
Yeah.
interact with the model registry, will this app use that?
Yeah, so that is what we want to try to work with model registry and feast folks to see how we can consolidate it. Maybe initially we can reuse their SDK to just push model from trainer to artifact storage, right?
That's what I'm meaning. Yeah,
And,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
and then if like we need to understand the use cases when people like users need dedicated client for model registry, right? Because usually model registry is being used with other components like pipelines, right, or training or like tuning, right? We just need to see like what set of clients we need to define, right? And how we can interact with those clients. Go ahead, Ricardo.
Yeah. Francisco.
Oh, Francisco. Yeah, Francisco, I think, yeah, was first.
Yeah, no, so I love this. I'm really looking forward to putting some feedback on it. I'll probably try to have something by the end of the day, Andre, because I think this is like my favorite thing ever, if I'm going to be honest. Good. And the way I look at this, Matthew, is that like figuring out the implementation details is the hard part. I think having this vision of like a great UX for end users is probably where this is starting from. And I think like that's what we'll start from. For Feast, we don't actually have an explicit client as much as we do just a pure SDK. So like maybe we design a client explicitly for this, and I think that we would be interested in doing that because again, it's like figuring out how we make this into the right solution is the ask. And so I yeah, that's just my 2 cents on that. And there's work to do to also figure out Feast and model registries integration. But I think that's actually more straightforward than creating a new client. But even
yeah, I think so yeah, this proposal is mostly kind of UX driven. I understand there are a lot of implementation complexity which are associated with this, right? But I think we should work together to provide this a great experience for the end users. And also like I think there is opportunity for us to think about MLM metadata, MLMD, artifact like logs and metrics, because Kubeflow doesn't have a solution today. That is why many users decide to use MLflow, because MLflow provide you this kind of visualization experience, or like weight and biases, for example, right? So they have this kind of metadata layer on top of all of your ML experiments, right?
And just to add, I think to give a seamless experience, the model registry should be part of, there should be utility inside the trainer itself to push to the model registry. And for example, serving can pick it up from there, right? And that workflow is already decided. I think if we configure the storage URLs, etc., like KSOF can automatically pick it up. So, which actually means the trainer and the tuner should basically have some integration with model registry by default.
Yeah.
And Mateo, you wanted to say you had your hand up?
So first of all, thank you, Andre. I think it makes a lot of sense, especially for the experience point of view. Is like if it is data scientists or even MLOps engineer at times that are maybe new to the ecosystem. So I see a lot of value in here. To me, one of the comments that sort of like I left is directly in one of the goals. What my question will be is like, are you already envisaging that for subsystems or components? There is like a plugin mechanism where sort of like we can fit our existing model registry Python client. Because for example, we have this Python client that we are supporting where the code lives is less of my sort of like my concern. So if sort of like we are saying, oh, for Kubeflow, this code has to move, of course, we can make sure that any implication is considered, but I'm specifically thinking is like the model registry Python client exists. So for instance, if trainer job wants to use it, they can already use it without sort of like having to have a new client, or providing an interface that then we can match it as a contract, because in that way you can specify the contract that you want the subsystems or component to provide, and then they can leverage the existing clients that we have available. Does it, what do you think about this?
Yeah, that makes sense. So I guess, yeah, I think the question how we can design this SDK to make it pluggable, right? Like, and like in case when users want to only interact with model registry, if they just do pip install Kubeflow and Kubeflow dot model registry import model registry client, is that the ideal experience for them to play with, right? Or they want to still have a separate package, right? Because like I guess like I need to see like more what kind of packages you have in your model registry, PyPy, your package by itself, like how hard it will be for us to manage dependency in a single, like package that, users can just install. Because again, this API gives you flexibility to only use model registry within this Kubeflow SDK, right? You can do from Kubeflow.model registry import model registry client, right? There will be no really differences from users, right? Instead of like, people installing Kubeflow model registry, they just install people install Kubeflow, right?
I think the versioning
yeah.
is the thing that I'm still concerned about. The thing that I'm still concerned about is versioning. But lots of people have their hand up. Matteo, have you finished?
Yeah, sorry, no, I just wanted to say about this, since it's like
Yeah.
we have been using, and actually we are actively developing the Python client. So let's say this is an important thing if this proposal go forward, so that we make sure that any other implementation details or capabilities that as we are adding them are compatible.
Yeah. Just one thing on this. I think when you understand the user lifecycle and people who are using these clients, like where they're using them, is it inside KFP or isn't inside their own kind of custom control plane components? Because this will help us to answer the question. For example, if they only use with trainer, there is no really need for us to provide the another client just for model registry, right? Because we can just integrate. Right, we're integrating model registry within trainer. So when the training is complete, we're exporting model to model registry, right, that we host. Similar to how we can integrate with KFP. Yeah, so I would maybe we should speak about this in model registry call, and I'm happy to join this to discuss it more on the integration side.
Yeah, let's we got Dara.
Maybe Dirash, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I was saying we could build it so that there's a Kubeflow client SDK as a starting point, and then users choose capabilities that they want to work with. And we could also look at things like using Python decorators and stuff, where we could inject capability and functionality, right, without the user explicitly asking for it. So MLflow is a good model for this kind of thing, where you feel like you're working with the native API of some underlying toolkit, but it actually intercepts calls and stuff to that API, and has things happen transparently. So for example, someone's working with trainer, but those calls are intercepted by the SDK, so that model registry calls happen in the background automatically, because the user enabled model registry capability through the primary Kubeflow SDK. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Having this pluggable mechanism to make sure clients can interact with those components, I think it's a good idea also. I would love to hear feedback on the model registry side, but let's definitely follow up on this. I think we definitely can design something
Where can
very
people
smart
make
and
comments?
interesting there.
Where can people make comments?
Yeah, it's on the PR, on the Google Doc, and I will soon transfer the app. Not yet. So right now, let's just use Google Doc.
Or is there an issue? There's an issue, right? Or no?
No, the issue, I haven't created an issue. I will create the issue in the community soon.
Cool. Okay, cool. And then we can have issue TVA. Okay, cool. I just wanna what is Eda, do you want to have a very quick comment about what you're doing with model registry, or Matteo maybe? Just about what's happening right now, like a minute or two, just to say like what's happening with the work on it, or Matteo as well.
I think that Eder wanted to give a highlight here.
Yeah, the missing piece, Matteo did a release with included the why. We are updating the manifest, and we are discussing with Julius. Julius asked on the pull request some change. We are discussing it, and Julius, just to let you know, we are going to go in the platform meeting on Thursday. make sure that we can address everything.
Yeah, I will be there then.
And thank you so much for your review.
Can you add this to the agenda then of the meeting?
Yep, I do.
Cool. Anything else you want to share about what your vision is that's happening? Just you got like a minute, maybe?
We are expecting you to the release, right? 1.1.10 to include the model registry UI.
Cool.
Yeah.
So model registry will be included in 1.10 and will be available in some
included
form?
as an option. Included optional, right? Component.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. That's good to know. Okay. I just want to highlight that I've got a massive PR that adds a dark mode to the website. It's not necessary for everyone to review it, but just having people browse the website and to see what they feel, it would be kind of great. The previews links are at you can kind of get to a preview site by either clicking on these preview buttons here. So for example, the homepage looks like this with dark mode. To go to light mode, it just looks similar, but slightly different to what it currently looks like because I had to make it so that it looks good in both dark and light, but pretty much the same. And then goes here, and then you can kind of browse around. This is in dark mode, obviously. Got the installing Kubeflow page. This part is not related to the web. There we go. Then, kind of slightly more sectioned. And so, yeah, it's pretty much just a dark theme for the website. The people who have reviewed it so far seem to think it's all right. It works on every single page. It uses some hacks to do to make dark themes for things which don't have dark themes, like Google Calendar, for example. Like for example, this website, it uses a filter over front of it. Not that one. So some images haven't been updated because there is a tool built into the new PR to allow only show this image in light mode and only show this image in dark mode. But I haven't gone through the thousands of images on the website. I've only fixed the ones which were just really bad, which didn't, like for example, the architecture diagram looked really bad because it didn't have a border around it because it was jammed up against the edge. So it didn't look good when it was on a black background. So that was the only changes I've really made. So other than that, if people are interested, they can just play around with it, see if there's any bugs that I've missed, where things look terrible or not. So that's PR number 3981 on the Kubeflow website. I've linked it in the doc. Cool. And also the model registry, I just want to highlight that we did have that PR. So Mateo, are you happy with this being merged?
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you, Matthew, for this one and also explaining the context that other components are doing this one. I've raised and highlighted this one in the yesterday Kubeflow model registry biweekly call. So to me, it's like if there are no outstanding comments down to some days, I will proceed to merge. Thank you so much again for the contribution.
So yeah, I just what I did, and this is helpful for any other component as well, that the website now has the ability. So the Swagger UI that we created for pipelines REST API, I've extended it to also support the latest version of Swagger v3 with the YAML-based Swagger definitions. So if your app in Kubeflow generates a YAML Swagger, you can also now, with very little effort, add a page to the website with your Swagger file, which looks kind of like that, which is, it's kind of a slightly embedded version of the existing Swagger piece, and it does let people click the try it out button and then click execute, and then they can get a curl command which shows them what it looks like. But it doesn't let them run the command from here like it might on if the app was actually hosting it, because Swagger UIs are usually hosted on the app itself. But obviously that doesn't work if the user doesn't have it deployed yet. So that's the whole idea of this page. So cool. So once we've got that approval, we'll need a root approver to merge it because it just has some changes to the templates. Okay. Removing the multi-tenancy section, Andre. We're kind of in the lead section now, but what's happening on this? You said you're okay with it. Most people seem okay with it. Can we move forward and merge this, Andre?
Yeah, I think so. Let me ping owners to approve it.
Awesome, thank you. So that just cleans up the sidebar. I know you have a proposal about the sidebar, but let's do that in another meeting. Let's not do that right now. The moving stuff around. Because again, my one comment about your proposal there, Andre, is that I'm not sure it's necessary, but even if we do it, let's do it virtually rather than with actual moving of pages. You know what I mean? Just so that we don't have to deal with the HTTP redirects.
Let me link this proposal to other community members so they can comment. So it's this one.
Yeah. So, and the
Yeah, please take a look.
Yeah. So Andre is proposing to highlight the components as their own section on the sidebar. All I was saying was that rather than doing it through actually moving the pages, let's do it virtually because we can. I've done so much kind of stuff on the templates that we can easily just make a custom type of section on the sidebar, you know, and just display. And my thoughts, we could display it similar to how there's a documentation heading. We could add a components heading above that, and then just have these 5 sections. You know what I mean? 6 sections. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Other than that, can we please merge this? This was approved by not Red Hat, by Canonical a long time ago, and it just rewords some things. It might be blocked, is it? No, it doesn't seem to be. Okay, so yep. If someone could merge that, all it does is it rewords this table from all certified distributions to say multiple because it's very confusing for users what the word all certified distributions means. I'm okay with it, and I'm affected, and the Canonical is okay with it. And they're the only other group affected. So if someone with a root approver could approve this, that would be great. 93914. And if Canonical wants to say anything right now, they can, but Andrea, I think, has commented on this. So yeah. Okay. Your Andre's proposal for the website. Let me just approve that. Okay, and Google Summer of Code is anyone? We'll just quickly talk about that. Ramesh okay?
Yeah, I'm here.
So again, this is about like the more logistics of it, not for the people who are actually going to apply. So what's kind of our next steps there, so that we can guarantee that we get in and everything?
There is nothing we can guarantee anything yet.
Okay, sure. But, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
We did apply for it, and our application got submitted and accepted, and we will know on February 27th whether we get approvals or not. I am fairly confident that we will be one of the organizations again accepted this year. They have not explicitly asked for how many slots they might give us, but I put in at least 15 mentors are readily available to coach towards this, given the number of mentors from last year. So we hope, I would expect a similar number of students. They may approve for us. So let's see. But right now, my call for everybody here in terms of mentoring is, let me know if you are already a mentor last year. I will extend the invitation to be a mentor again this year automatically, so you don't need to reply to me. If you want to be if you were not a mentor last year and want to be a mentor this year, please leave me a comment on that PR on the issue I opened on the community. Then I will send, I will reach out and get your email and send an invitation out to you. The most important thing is, please go ahead and submit your project proposals that you are thinking of, because people will start looking at this, and even Google might look at our project ideas page before granting the accepted organization status. So I would like to get this one somewhere, between next week or week and a half. By 15th, I would like to have a set list of at least if not the final list, at least 6, 7 a good candidate list of projects out there on the page, so that if the organizers are looking at how proactive we are there. We can show that, hey, we got some decent projects already listed, and people can start applying for it. Then if we need to add more, we can always add, because the student proposal stage starts somewhere in March. So that's when people are more actively looking at these projects and submitting proposals. So let's get, please take some time, and also, think, last year when we put 90-hour projects, they went a little over 90. I suggest at least think a little bigger, 170 hours, little bigger projects, right? Even some projects, I think the longest projects you can ask for is 350 hours. That goes all the way to the November. I don't know whether you want to do that long of a mentoring, but if you want somebody in there, if there is a candidate available, why not, right? They were willing to do it. So, but think through those, and if you need, and submit any project proposals by 15th, that would be great. I will stop there. Thank you, Matthew, for giving the opportunity to talk.
Awesome. Thanks for your work on this. If you get contacts, I mean, there's less people here now, but probably most of them are people who would get contacted. If you do get contacted by a lot of students like I do, point them at this page and help them understand that it's not quite time yet to do the applications, so that they don't kind of, otherwise it can take a lot of time to explain this to the hundreds of people every time.
Yeah, I already seeing the few requests coming in my way, so I've been doing the same. Thank you for that.
Awesome.
Just one question for Ramesh, Matthew. It's to propose is just submit a pull request?
No. So just submit your ideas in that issue. So there's an issue there that I just linked below. Right here.
Okay.
And so again, it's not about, because to have a project approved, it's not approved so much as we have a certain number of projects we get allocated as a community, probably as many as we ask for, really. And then what happens is students have to apply, and then we have to accept them for a specific project. So even if you submit a great project idea, if no one applies for it, then you won't have a student, so you won't have a project. So, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm gonna do there, Eder, is from this that issue, I will collect all the projects, and then we move all that content into the page that Matthew was just showing earlier.
Oh yes, the website. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the website. Yeah, we'll put all those projects in here. So I want to collate them first, and then put it as one PR to the website.
I have one question, Ramesh. Does the amount of slots we might get depend on the size of the projects we use? For example, do we get less slots if we choose 300 plus hours?
Maybe not. I mean, there may be students. If I don't want you to put artificially inflate it up either, right? But don't go on the shorter side. I would choose medium, like a 175, which is pretty normal. Goes from somewhere in the beginning of May to August or September, I think, right? August. So that gives you 3.5 months. That's a good project space. We don't honestly know whether you will get less number of people if you say all 300 hours, but let's have a combination of those things. If you do see that there is something that really needs 300, maybe break it up into 2, or if you get somebody for, then in the beginning, before the time expires. Last time I made a mistake, I want to say this again, is before the time expires, if you guys let me know, there is an opportunity for me to go ask to extend the time if student is willing. And last time we wanted to do that, but time was expired already. I couldn't go adjust it.
I don't know if they get, but I don't think they get paid extra stipend. I think they have to be in.
They do not.
They have to be in the beginning. They have to be in the project to get the stipend, right? Yes,
you are right. Yeah, the stipend wise, it's a fixed amount for them, but it's probably student might be willing to do that. So.
But yeah, also we have to be willing as mentors. Like the biggest thing that's going to limit us, not in terms of the length, just overall, is how many mentors we have that are actually willing and able to do the mentoring, because it is a lot of work. Even if you've got an easy project, so kind of easy in inverted commas, like it is just a lot of work, because these are students that they're not professional programmers. They will need a lot of help, and so that's why we do it. We're doing it out of trying to get something out of it as a community, yes, but also to help these students become programmers, right? So.
I think we have very good success stories now from our side, that many students became owners and approvers, and right now they want to be mentors. So if we can replicate the same stories around the different working groups, I think it would be amazing. And yes, I mean different students require different set of mentorship, right? I agree. But overall, I think this is extremely important for us moving forward.
And also, we're pretty much guaranteed to get in because Google is prioritizing AI and ML projects. So, you know, we're kind of we're pretty much guaranteed there. But you know,
Yes. Yes, thank you.
awesome. Thanks, everyone. I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna stop the recording unless anyone's got anything they really need to get out of their chest right now. Thank you.
Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Happy Tuesday.
Thank you. Great call. See you guys soon.